Welcome to Hair Up, Bra Off podcast. We're here to be your new comfort fix with unfiltered conversations on random topics and gossip. As two women in their 30s, Kathryn, who's been chronically single, and Sue, who is happily married with 2 cats. So take your bra off, throw your hair up, and let's get into it. And men, if you're listening, take notes.
So today we're going to talk about why so many women are single, specifically women over the age of 30, because obviously you can expect women to be single and probably not settle down until later in their 20s. So it's specifically within the 30 plus cohort. There's been a steep increase into the percentage of women that have never been married and are still single, about 52% as of last year. And in the 1960s, apparently that number was only 6%, which means that a lot more women were at some point married or in a relationship by the time that they reached their 30s. So there's obviously like a few factors here, but I think it's interesting to explore just like this is basically your story, Kat. So you have like a personal relationship to this topic because you have never been married and you are in your 30s, but you're not alone, right? It's like a lot of my friends are in that same group. And I don't know, I don't feel like I don't see them settling down anytime soon.
Yeah, I think before a lot of women felt they needed a man to even build their life, and so they just put up with whatever. I'm pretty sure if you spoke to women and asked if they were happy back in the 60s, a majority of them would be like, no, I want to jump off a bridge right now, but I'm here because I have a husband. And their whole life revolved around the husband. And it wasn't until women were able to become more independent that they were able to see that they can not only have a happier life, but they can also be okay with not having a husband.
Yeah. And I think like some of the reasons, like to your point of why like the percentage has increased so much is like one of those, what you just mentioned of like the societal shifts and changing norms. Because I think before it was expected for you to kind of, I think there was a couple of reasons as to why, right? Like you needed to get married so that you would have children because that was what was expected of you as a woman, and religion was just like so much stronger back in the day that you couldn't really have children outside of marriage, or let's say to like a sperm donor or whatever it is that people are doing now. But at the same time that kind of like limited you in your expectations because you had to find a window and then get married. So you couldn't be like, oh, I don't want a man that beats me up or that puts me down, that was.
And I also think about just career opportunities back in the 60s. Even if a woman wanted to be single, I feel as if there weren't jobs out there that they could take. Like they needed a husband to sustain themselves. Because even just the other environmental factors as far as religion and then career opportunities and, women even going into school and money and debt, it was a lot more difficult for women back then.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like you had to somehow make money, right? Like, I mean, you had to survive. So if you couldn't find, I mean, like so many women were not allowed in the workforce. They couldn't even make money themselves. So you were like, well, might as well just get married and get money from this guy. And that live my life that way. And that still exists. I mean, a lot of, older couples now that like are still, the woman is still with the man because of a financial sort of commitment and it's an agreement that is under the table and no one really talks about, but really that's like you give me your energy and time and like, your freedom, and I give you money in return, and you raise my children. It's sort of like an exchange. But I feel like a lot of those women, I would say the majority of them are not super content with their life and probably have been wanting to get out, but it's easier to just, stay and continue in that agreement.
I constantly say this, that the reason why celebrities get divorced at a higher rate is because typically they both have so much money and they're able to, what's it called, get a third party to take care of any sort of job that they do on a daily basis. They'll have nannies, they'll have hair people. I mean, everything can get done by someone else. And you really get down to just then two people who at the end of it are not happy, and because they don't have those ties where they feel like they have to be with one another because they're already financially free, then they get divorced. I mean, look at Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. They were married for 2 years.
Yeah.
For 2 years. And they were
Yeah.
in love.
Right.
In love.
And people always talk so much shit about J-Lo, but they like never talk shit about a man that has been like married and divorced like 4 times. It's always like, if a woman's done it, then it's like, oh, you're like, crazy because you've gotten divorced and married 3 times or however many times she's gotten married and divorced. But there's so many men that also do that. And it's just like, well, he's still looking for himself. Like he's still searching, like soul searching for his like significant other.
When
and I'm like, that's so unfair.
When I hear that a woman has a lot of divorces, what I think in my head is she's an independent bad bitch. Like, she makes the decision to want to leave, and there's nothing holding her back. Like, not even a man who is her husband at the time can tell her different. Especially as I've gotten older, I think when I was younger, I was used to the stigma and divorce is bad. But as I've gotten older, I just realized divorce is such a...
Yeah.
Like, it's actually, like, more impressive that people do it. Because I think there's a lot more reason for people to stay together rather than to get divorced.
Yeah. And I always, I forget who told me this, but I started kind of doing this. Like, I always introduce my husband as, like, my current husband. So it's
you keep him on his toes.
Yeah. Because you never know what's going to happen. I think that was the other thing, right? Like, marriage being for life, I think it's a good goal to have, but it is somehow unrealistic. A lot of the times, like, there are other factors that come into play, and you don't have to necessarily stay unhappy and just continue just because, marriage is forever is in your mind and you just like cannot get divorced. Not to mention, apparently, men leave their wives. There's like a 600% like fold increase of like men that leave their wives after they get sick versus women leaving their husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes to show you that the only reason why they're still married is because you do everything for them and you're like healthy and taking care of them and their children. The second you're no good to them, they're like, let me find another working slave. And
I used to watch random documentaries on YouTube, and one of them was how women who go to prison, typically their husbands will leave them within the first month and never have any visitors. And even the guards will say, I've seen very rare where a husband has stuck by the woman and has come here to give her comfort, help her while she's, still in jail. But if you look on the other end, women will stick by their man no matter what. Not even that. It will be multiple women who will stick by their man while they're in prison, do everything that they can to make sure their time is fun and they're cared for and they're loved. I mean, it is just wild to see that, the correlation and the difference between men and women in that sense.
Yeah, and the men, it's not even like the wives won't leave them. These men be out here cheating, like from jail, and having multiple partners from jail, like getting a bunch of like significant others at the same time, and like they don't care that they're in jail. It's like that video of like, this is your man. It's like, look at this.
Look at the screen. Like, is this your
mine.
Man? That's mine.
That's mine.
He's all mine.
I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna ride beside him.
And I feel like I don't want to say there's 2 types of women, but I feel like there are women who fall into that norm that they're going to stick by their man no matter what. And then you have my spectrum where I see that and I'm like, I don't even want to get near the thought of that. And so I just don't even need to find a husband.
Well, maybe that's a good segue into like why you are single, or why do you think you're single? Because obviously you're a beautiful woman. So like many men have probably come to your door and brought you flowers and asked you to go on a date, right? I mean, that's what's happening usually.
Um, for one, I think I have a lot of good people around me. I feel like I have a good relationship with my friends. I have a good relationship with my family. And I'm just so happy and content that I don't feel the need to go out and find someone. And maybe that's what's also kind of holding me back is I'm so content that I'm not even putting myself out there to find a potential partner because I constantly think of, okay, yes, I can go on multiple dates, but then it becomes exhausting. And then you enter this emotional roller coaster of a lot of highs and then a lot of lows. And even
Mm-hmm.
now, when I went to visit Atlanta to a dog sit for my friend, and I used Hinge there. And just talking with the men, it was so exhausting because they'd just be like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, I'm doing well, and you? Oh, I'm just in traffic. And then that would be the end of the conversation.
Oh
That's
my
what they
God.
would lead off with. And I already felt exhausted from that because I'm like, wow, I guess, I mean, yeah, I could ask you a bunch of questions, but it already seems like I'm having to give more already
Mm-hmm.
than you
Mm-hmm.
do just based off this first interaction. And I'm sure it's only going to get worse, you
Yeah,
know?
well, that's what's happening. So women are evolving, and that was like part of one of the reasons that we were looking into like why women are more single now. It's like the increase of platonic relationships with friends. So I think like women friendships, because they used to keep us apart. This conspiracy that was like that you guys should all hate each other and like you guys like are competing against. That's like a male
Mm-hmm.
created concept, and I think we're like getting past that now. We're like, wait a second, they're like lying to me, and like why should I not be friends with other women? And so like women, that's why they ban women congregating in some religions like the Taliban. Like they can't have women groups because they
No,
just
no, no.
become
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stronger and more independent, and that's what's happened to this generation and like some of the generations after us and like before us. It's like, to your point, you're so content with the friends that you do have, and they're like light years above and away from any potential male partner that you could have, that it's almost like, why am I going to waste my time? Because men just haven't evolved in the same way that I think women have evolved. Like we went from being like very empathetic like creatures and like nurturing, role models and like caring for others. And then we started working and making money and like getting educated. And then we have like the social and emotional intelligence. And then men are just like, oh, I was used to just sitting on my couch and like waiting for someone to come along and,
Mm-hmm.
just like moving bricks from one side to the other. And now that's not enough. And all of a sudden they're surprised. They're like, wait, what? Like, there's like more expectations
Mm-hmm.
from us. Like, oh, that's unfair. And that's what they're getting all upset and stuff.
No, yeah. And I think the other thing is I'm at the age where a lot of my friends have been married for quite a bit of time. I want to say at least 10 years almost, or they've been with their significant other for a good amount of time. And before I always used to think marriage is easy. You just find someone you really like and you watch the same TV shows and you just like, spend money together. It's fine, it's fun. And then once I started witnessing other people's marriage throughout all the years and seeing everything they have to go through and everything that happens and the emotional roller coaster, it started hitting me about how difficult marriage really is. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of opened my eyes to how important it is to find someone that will add more to your life than take away. I've seen my friends get,
Yeah.
in situations where I see they're going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it just opened my eyes quite a bit into what
Yeah.
marriage is.
Totally. And I almost wonder, like, it kind of goes back to the concept of like, is marriage even like, why do we have to think about it as like a goal? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you hear so many stories, and this happens all the time where it's like someone's married for like, I don't know, 20 years, and the man like either becomes aggressive or like has like 20 other partners or like is cheating on them, and it's like just a nightmare. Like, then what was the point of getting married? Because if you're just doing it for like to just not feel alone in your life, then, what's the point? And I think that's what a lot of women are realizing. It's like, I have all my girlfriends, like, I feel content. I go to like my friends' big events, like, I have my family. I don't understand what else I need, specifically not this like pain, like heartbreak and heartache. Sounds like just stressful as fuck. so so I think people are feeling like less, specifically women, less pressure to like, get married. I think men are still like, I mean, men are always like, I'm never gonna, there's like this whole like, there's a whole cohort of men that are like forever bachelors, which is fine, but at some point they want to settle down. And I think for them it's still convenient to get married because like, who's gonna take care of them? That's what happens with men. Men don't have the same like level of friendship that women have. Like, they don't even know, you know, like when their friends' birthdays are, or like when like they don't travel to see each other. Like, it's not like that strong, so they need somebody there to like tell everything to, and that person needs to be, somebody like their wife or whatever. So it's like they need someone to manage their life, and they're realizing like without that they're gonna die. Like, they need to get somebody to manage their life. It's crazy.
No, actually that's a really great way of putting it. Is I feel with women, you kind of have your platonic soulmates where you feel you can communicate in any form and talk about anything going on, and there's always going to be empathy and understanding, and you feel heard in a way. But with men and their friends, it's so wild to me. I'll hear them say, oh yeah, all my friends and I got together, we all went on this great trip. And then you're like, okay, so what's going on with your friends? Like, give us the update. And they're like, oh, well, we didn't really talk that much. We just we played sports and we talked and we saw a basketball game and that's it. And I'm like, you didn't ask them like what's going on with their job? Who are they dating?
Yeah.
How is their ex doing? Like, nothing at all. It's just more of a physical like, I don't even know how to explain their.
Yeah, it's like nothing. Like, remember the trip that Ryan went on? Like, all we heard from that was like, oh, we farted in the car.
Yeah.
Like, that was the extent of it. Everyone just like kept farting apparently and putting the window down. And there was a man that like basically got divorced and no one asked what happened.
Questions or seeing how they're doing. It's just very surface level. And that's why men constantly seek, but women don't have to. And then men wonder why. And it's because,
Yeah.
we don't need it.
And let me tell you something. They may say that they don't need that, but they do, because I'm married to a man, and this man will tell me all of his emotional like insecurities, all of his actual like fears. Like, they need someone to tell that to, and it's like that's not their friends somehow. Like, for us, like, it is our friends. Like, I can tell my friends like my deepest secrets, and or like when I'm feeling down, or like when I need help. And men don't have that. They have to go to a woman. They have to like be vulnerable only with a woman. Like, I was reading about how men like need a female partner for them to be able to be intimate. Like, not like intimate in a sexual way, but intimate with their feelings and stuff. And if they don't have that, like, they'll literally die from holding it in. Versus like women, like, we just tell, all the other partners, like female partners, our stuff.
And I think this is another great like segue into the next point that we had mentioned, how a lot of times men nowadays take advice from other men who aren't qualified to give said advice, and they end up becoming that toxic individual where it just makes it easier for women to just stay away and not care and not want to be involved with men. It's like men make it easier to want to be single.
Yeah, they're wondering why nobody likes them. And it's like, well, because you have like these ideas of women, like you don't like women, If you don't like my sex, like how can I bond with you? You like already don't like me. You hate my kind, and you expect me to just be some sort of toy, or like just something to play with. So, and these men are like out here having podcasts as well. That's also why we created this podcast, because they're out here being like, yo, man, like a woman needs to be skinny, a virgin, like never have gone out and suck your dick 24/7. And it's like, unrealistic expectations. You know what I mean? Like, some what we do here. It's like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And why I think people don't understand, like, human behavior is to be nicer to the people that are nice to you and that don't expect like crazy things out of you. You tend to just give those people more of your niceness than the people that are like telling you what to do, right? You automatically don't like those people.
Yeah. It's just when I've noticed it, because I'd be online, and when I look up, men who are single, it's kind of like the environment that's in becomes a rotting cesspool of why women are making us single and what they're doing and everything outside of, maybe their behavior. It's everything else. But then when I look up why women are single and I start seeing random videos of women who've been single for a while, a lot of the time their narrative is, what am I doing wrong? Why am I single?
Mm, mm.
They're asking other women, are you in this position? Just to let you know, you aren't alone. We're all in the same boat. Just continue on. Be happy. It's a lot more. It's like they're trying to look inwards, where with men, it's just wild to me. It's like the
Yeah,
complete
there is more
opposite.
introspective.
Uh
And
huh.
men are more like, oh, how is I am a victim of society and not necessarily looking at my own behaviors, like I cannot have a conversation with a woman for more than like 3 sentences. Yeah, I also love that they have like all these like I've seen some profiles that'll be like nothing more than I think I saw something on TikTok that this guy was like, if you weigh over 120 pounds, like don't even match me. He's like bald and short and chubby, and it's like, what about you? Like, maybe, we should, I mean, I guess we're a little bit more picky with height, but still, like, they still lie about it. And if like women were like, I only want men with full hair, set of hair, like abs, and that are 6'4". Like, we usually typically only ask for like one thing, it's like height, that's it. But this man was like listing all the things, like, be like skinny, be be like attractive, like don't even talk to me if you like, go out like too much, or if you like have more than like this amount of partners. I'm like, damn, that's like a long list. It's like hard to find.
And then I also question, because then I'm thinking, okay, he posted this. He thinks this. He probably says this out loud. I wonder the people that are in his life, like who is in his circle. I feel like when I hear that, I just feel like those men are so isolated because there's no one to tell them otherwise or to remind them about being a human. That when I see them, I'm just like, wow, there must be no one in his life. I mean, it just doesn't. I just don't. And again, then we bring up the whole fact again about how men and their platonic relationships don't go as far with women, or are not the same with women's relationship with one another. Because I
Yeah.
feel like a close friend would tell you, yo, your profile looks psychotic. But they
Yeah,
probably don't even show
exactly.
each other at,
It's the worst
yeah.
thing for a young boy or a man. Isolation is like, wait, what is the saying? There's a saying in Spanish. It's the devil lives in boredom, or boredom is where the
The
devil
devils
lay.
and men.
There's like a saying. It's like
I
something
know what you're.
around
I think I know what. Yeah, I think I've heard something
like
close to it.
yeah, there's like the devil is like when you're bored or like
Yeah.
not doing anything.
And you know what's interesting now that you mention it is before, when men would be bored and they would be more isolated, they would just maybe play video games or do other things. But now, because alpha podcasts have become such a big thing, when they're bored and they're isolated, instead of figuring out ways to do other things, they find these podcasts and they start
Mhm.
listening to these men who give them this source of reasoning and kind of play into their delusions, where now you start seeing more and more men being that toxic alpha men.
And they're bored. They're just like planning their, attack for
for
dude.
womankind all over. I mean,
Literally scary, man.
instead
Honestly.
of like maybe reading a book or maybe finding ways to make new friends, they find themselves on like a different podcast of men trying to explain why women suck and men are better. And
Yeah, this is why I always say, like, I think I would get rich off of like self-help books too. Like writing a book that's just like, it's not you, it's them. Like, don't worry. It'll
yeah,
get better. Like, you are perfect. Don't listen to anybody. Like, why everyone else sucks and not you? They love like the reassurance that they're not wrong. And this is everybody, not just men, except like, for men it's more toxic, like they become violent and stuff. But I think everybody loves the notion that they're perfect and they don't need to change anything about themselves. And so they're just gonna read a book or listen to a podcast that reinforces that.
what is it? Confirmational bias, where
Confirmation bias. And now that we're kind of getting to the end of the episode, you reminded me of a story with your like isolation thing. But we can talk about the story of the Colorado trip. It's kind of related, but kind of not related. But it's just funny that you mentioned the friends. We went out in Breckenridge during September of 2020, so it was like not a lot of people, but bars were kind of open, but like they would close early and everybody had to wear masks if you were indoors, kind of like that setting back in the 2020s. So this trip, it was for one of our friends Mackenzie's birthday. So we go to this house in Breckenridge. We go out. When we're out, she's talking to a man. This man is sitting by himself at the bar, like just like by himself. And it was maybe like 10 p.m. So the bar was gonna close soon because again it was COVID. So we're walking out, and this man's name was it was something like Nostafarus, or like very just like vampire like oh, it was Nicholas.
Nickel. That's your most vampire name.
yeah, this
Shout
is
out
how
to
I
all the
think of
Nicholases out there.
who. Okay, Nick I get, but and Nicholas I get, like Nicho, wait, whatever. But Nicholas, like Nicholas, like with a K
Yeah,
and Laus at the end. I think that's intense. I don't know
yeah.
who names their kid that anymore,
It's a
right?
lot. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot. So Nicholas, was sitting there by himself at a bar, and he's like, "I'll just drive you guys back to the Airbnb," like, and then, so we had two cars, one, and I went with my friend and this man, and as we're walking out, I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing at the bar?" Like, it was, I think it was Labor Day weekend, um, and he was like, "Oh, just came, to have a few drinks," and I was like, "Oh, like with your friends, like." Who are you hanging out with? Like, because I'm like, your friends. Oh, and before this, I had asked, like, where do you live? And he's like, I live like an hour away from here. I was like, oh, wow. Like, so you drove all the way here to hang out with your friends, I would assume. And he's like, friends, right? That's like such an interesting concept. Yeah, he's like, those are really hard to keep, I find. So, Kat, his name is Nicholas. This man has no friends. He lives an hour away. So I'm already like red flags. So we're walking to his car. I had asked him where he's from. He was like, I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
Somehow he's in a bar in Breckenridge, but lives an hour away. Has no friends. This is all I've gathered so far. And then I'm getting to the car, and his license plate is from California. So then I'm like, oh, but do you live in California? Because your license plate is from California. And at this point, I'm like taking a picture of the license plate because I'm like, just in case I get kidnapped. This is sounding weird.
The story's not adding, Nicholas. There's something. There's
something
something
there. There's something there. And then we go back to the house. Thank God we arrive in one piece, and we're fine. And actually, on the way there, I asked him like, "So how often do you move?" And he's like, I have moved, quite a bit. I move every time I have a heartbreak." And I'm like, "How many heartbreaks have you had?" And he's like, 27.
That seems pretty low for you, Nicholas. Judging by your demeanor and how you are right now, that's a low ball. Good for you.
Cat. 27 heart. To me, that sounded like 27 are the women that I've killed.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
27 heartbreaks. That shit is like not right. Like, and the way that he was saying it too, I was like, he was just getting creepier and creepier. And we like get to the house, and one of our friends made note of this, but we're like walking into the house, and he's like, you have to invite me in. You have to invite me in, otherwise like I can't come in.
Wait, side note, what was he ethnically? Was he white,
Just white.
Hispanic? Okay, because typically, sometimes I like to say maybe there's a culture difference where sometimes there are different norms. So maybe
No.
that's why he was saying the whole
Well,
thing.
there's different norms with vampires. I
That's
guess.
true. I can't forget about them. You're right.
Yeah, I can't forget about that, because he goes, "You have to invite me in," and then our other friend Taylor is like, "You guys, he's a vampire. Like, vampires need to be invited in, otherwise they can't come into the house." And we were like, "Holy shit, you're right." So then we're asking him, "What does he do for work?" And he's like, "I write novels." And we're like, "Oh, that. Do you have anything that's like famous that is published?" He's like, "Well, I'm still working on my novel." And like, it's a big one that has 3 parts, and it's about like some vampire shit, I think. And we're like, where do you write? He's like, I write in my cabin in the woods, which is where I live. Yeah. And this level of silence is a level of silence that we had in this cabin in Breckenridge at midnight with this man.
So what I'm really hearing is 27 caretakers who were there to help you through this all while you were writing your novel. And then since there's really nothing much going on besides taking the blood of others.
Yes, because my man's is a vampire, obviously, because he has no friends, because they're hard to keep. And he has 27 heartbreaks. He's lived in 27 different places, apparently, because he moves after every heartbreak.
And what's crazier is that him moving so much just also means that he hasn't made a connection to that location and people there. It's like for him to just be able to up and move at any time just shows that he doesn't sleep at the night.
I'm convinced that this man is not real. Like, it's 100%. This is going to be titled My Encounter with a Vampire. And then he was hanging out with our friend, right, that liked him. This all started because my friend had a crush on him.
Was he cute?
Then, I mean, it was COVID. There was not a lot.
He was like a COVID.
Imagine.
He was like a COVID 7, but after COVID, probably like a 4 or 3.
I mean, okay. I feel like there was a lot of thirst back in those days of COVID, because a lot of women like hadn't been out. So she was just like, I'm out after 8 months or however long it had been. So I must meet, a person, and this person happened to be a vampire. So we went back to the house, and then they were hanging out at the hot tub, and we kept checking on our friend. And then we came outside one time, and he goes, "Why do you guys keep checking on me? Like, I'm not going to kill her or anything."
The fact that you have to make that clarification,
right?
My dude, I'm now twice as worried.
We were so scared. Like, Kat, we were like, he's actually, I think, gonna like drink our blood and like kill us all. And thankfully, we had a guy friend. It was like one of our other friends' guys that was also staying at the house. Like, he just stayed on the couch. And he goes, "Guys, you can't just leave me here alone." He's like, he's going to kill me first because I'm the man. And then he's going to go find you guys, but I'm going to be first because he's going to get rid of, like, the biggest one the fastest. So apparently, anyway, he was trying to hook up with my friend. My friend didn't want to, like, actually have sex. He just wanted to make out, and he got upset and was like, "You guys are all the same," and then, like, run away and, like, close the door. And then the other guy friend went and locked the door behind him. And that night, we all slept with, like, knives under our pillows. For reals. Like, legit. That's what we did. All of us.
You guys were prepared for war.
Literally. So, I mean, it's scary for women out there dating. We haven't touched on that, but I think, like, that's the other piece of it. It's, like, you have to worry about... It's not just, like, these men suck and, like, they're awful and their hair has left them. It's also that a man can kill you.
Like you said, when the guy was leaving, he became very, like, toxic. He was saying, "Oh, you guys are all the same, blah, 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 blah," just, like, spewing all of this. And it's probably because he isolates himself a lot.
Yeah, friends.
And I just feel like these men are by themselves. No one tells them that their behavior is crazy. And then they go out and unleash on these poor, innocent women who have no idea what's coming towards them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the majority of them are on dating apps right now
No, dude, it's
that are
scary.
looking.
It's scary out there. Out there, you know? Like, not only do you have to worry about, like, the man being a dumbass, you have to worry about, like, him being aggressive and, like, raping you, killing you, whatever, hurting you if you don't do what they expect from you, which is just a lot, Like, it's a lot for us to carry. And I mean, I respect you. I think you're doing the right thing. Just like, why am I even gonna get involved in that? Just
Yeah, I don't want to become a Lifetime movie.
we should finish by saying that I think men are the ones that need to be better, not us, obviously. And we think that men need to have more friends and essentially just like go out, meet friends, talk to each other.
But I also just want you to like text your friend and be like, bro, I'm so glad you're in my life and I love you and we should talk more, period. Talk about your feelings. What are your hopes and dreams? What is the anxiety that lives in your stomach? Talk to your guy friends, Hug
each other.
Reach out. Even a handshake. Just do a handshake to get more connected.
Yes, all those things.
Thank you so much for being with us. And tell your friends, men, or enemies, we're not picky. Follow Hair Up, Bra Off everywhere you scroll. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.